Hey, what's up, my JavaScript friends? Can we be that? Can we be JavaScript friends? I say we are JavaScript friends. Um, and like what I say is true. Could be true, could be not. Hey, listen, it is Friday, and I have an event this weekend I've been talking about. So if you haven't heard me say, this weekend is our International Women's Day celebration down at Bitwise. I'm giving a talk on React. Should be fun. I actually have been working on it. Besides working on your code stuff, which by the way, last night, so fun to see you all do the work. And again, the creativity. I think I saw only one person, and I want to make sure you got this. Like, if you looked at my code before you submitted or did your own, right, you needed to say that. And, this is a model that I'm really trying to institute because if your first instinct is to look at the code, it's not a great first instinct. Your first instinct should be, how can I do that? And I think most of you, I'm going to say all of you at some level, are doing that because that's the reason I've switched up the learn together work is because rather than to more closely align with what Andrew's doing, it's more like take the concepts and give you an experience of actually looking at some output, or think about it like this, similar to a user giving you requirements saying, I need you to do this. It's like you have to really think through. So I think I'm going to continue this. Now, this week I don't. This week we take a break from coding and learn together and we look at our next development. So check that out. I'm sure you'll have some writing you need to do about it. I actually want you to do some more than just writing, and actually thinking about working on would be the better way to do that. So for the majority of this work today, here's what I want. And I want you to watch a 6 or so minute video from a guy who's getting a lot of good PR. And it's about JavaScript form validation. And I think Web Dev Simplified here does a really good job. But in general, because one thing I noticed last night was that a few of you made it to where if you hit submit, nothing would happen. But you didn't give any feedback to the user. So I want you to, and Andrew's going to introduce some of this along the way, but I want you to, as of this point forward, never, and I did it too. So, right. I get to learn. I knew how to do it. I just didn't. I was more focused on other things. No excuses. So from this point forward, you should never give the user a form, an input, some type without giving also a validation, so that the user knows that they either didn't give you the right thing, right, or something. So again, I want you to watch this. Again, just the idea of this is really just to see an example of a way to do it, because you can take this and customize it. MDM also has a great section on form validation, because remember that what Andrew's showing, actually he's showing all of it. He's showing an event listener on an input field, responding to that. He's showing a form and then responding to that. But it also, the nice thing, and I think I saw Masood do this, is that if you have a form, this is something I think I did not talk about, although there's some logic to say whether it's completely good to do. Here's what I'm talking about, is that you should not only do client-side validation, but because most of this stuff is going to a server somewhere, you also do backend. So actually, in this case, what you learn best practices is that you really do full stack validation, meaning you do it on the client side, but you assume, you really do it to make your user experience better, but you also assume that somebody is going to figure out how to disable that client side validation. And so you got to make sure you're doing it on the server before you receive the information. But sometimes you are just working on the client. Back to what I left off, was one of the things you can do on a form when you create a form is just put the required attribute on your inputs. And when you hit submit, it'll just give you a built-in message. So for our purposes, from the start of learning this, it's okay to do that. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to watch that video. I want you to reflect upon this. And I want you to say in your reply that you understand from moving forward here on out, you have to do some kind of validation when you're asking the user for their input. Okay? All right, have a great weekend. It should be beautiful in Fresno. It's snowing up in the mountains. I'm looking forward to giving my talk and having it be over. But maybe I'll see you. All right. If you have any questions about if you're watching this before Saturday, if you have any questions about that, I did give codes out for student discounts if you just want to ask me anything about it. Bitwise 9 o'clock to 4 o'clock on Saturday.